Peep this video shirt, look. It's Veredetta Chili, is momonoworld.com, or momono.world, right? Yeah, I'll put it somewhere. Hi, welcome back to my kitchen, even though this is not a cooking video or channel, or is it? You get to decide that after this video. For those of you who are not new here, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, hi, I'm Jazzy Op1. I'm an illustrator, graphic and motion designer, a small YouTuber and streamer, and just a fan of being a fan of things. Thank you so much for the 110 subscribers, by the way. This is a really big milestone for me, and thank you so much for the love on my last video. I'm still fresh off the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth hype train, so I'm still inspired to make more videos about it. So here's another Final Fantasy VII video for you. Today we're going to be talking about one of the most iconic love triangles in video game history. So iconic that Square Enix has had people beefing for over 25 plus years. Yeah, we're going to be talking about the love triangle between CloudXTifa, Tifa Lockhart, and Aerith Gainsborough. Now before we get into all of it, number one, disclaimer, a lot of this is in jest. It's supposed to be in jest and informative at the same time. We're not trying to get nasty here. We're just trying to state some stuff and like share my opinions on how I feel about certain things. And lastly, spoiler warning, if you haven't finished Rebirth or aren't familiar with the original and only are familiar with the newer games, or if you haven't read any of the recent light novels like Traces of Two Past, then don't watch this. You're going to be learning more about the characters, but yeah, if you don't want to get spoiled, click off. I don't want to spoil you. And if you don't care about getting spoiled, then please continue watching if you'd like. So yeah, 25 plus years. I've been alive for that long and then some. As I mentioned in my previous video, Final Fantasy VII is one of my first video games that I played on my dad's PlayStation. There's been an ongoing war, ongoing beef between Cloty and Clerith, Clouty, Clerith. I don't know how to pronounce these. I'm just gonna say Cloty and Clerith, which is quite simply CloudXTifa and CloudXAerith. Shipping wars can be the bane of many of a fandom's existences, depending on how intense they can get. And some fights and debates online can get really nasty, and I've been seeing it sprout a lot more coming from the newer fans. And from what I've seen over the years, and this is coming from both sides of the coin, okay? The biggest clashing of heads happens when one group over the other kind of downplays the significance or denies certain events that happen throughout the games and compilations. And to be honest with you, I don't want to deceive anybody. I'm not one of the people who doesn't ship, okay? I do ship. A lot of the times I keep it to myself. I don't like fighting. I don't like it. But I will tell you right now, and it's up to you whether or not you want to continue this video after knowing this, but I personally ship Cloud and Tifa.
Aerith's dead. Tifa's second choice.
Please don't hurt me. With that aside, this is not a Cloty video, okay? I'm going to be talking about these two characters. I'm going to be talking about Tifa and Aerith, who they are as characters, what they've gone through, and their personal bonds with Cloud separately. Because before I'm a shipper, I'm a girl's girl, and these two are amazing fictional women, okay? And I'm so happy that the Remake trilogy so far has expanded upon their characters and fleshed them out a bit more, along with the new light novel, Traces of Two Past. I can relate to both their situations. I can find myself in both of them. They've gone through so much and they're just so amazing and strong. Yeah, I love them. I love them both. Without further ado, we're gonna start talking about the first girl that we meet in the game as the audience, and that is Aerith. So Aerith Gainsborough is a half Cetra, half human who was born February 7th, 1985, which makes her an Aquarius, if you care about that sort of thing. I do. I think it's kind of fun, and it makes sense in my brain, so yeah. Her mother is the last known full-blooded Cetra, or ancient Ifalna, and her father is Gast Faramus, the former head of the Shinra Science Department. Unlike Hojo, he seemed like a pretty good guy. He pursued research for wisdom's sake, but was unfortunately killed by Hojo after Ifalna gave birth to Aerith at the Icicle Inn where her and Gast eloped to after escaping Shinra. Then on, most of Aerith's early childhood was filled with the sterile metal and concrete surroundings of the Shinra labs as Hojo experimented on her and her mother. At the age of 6 or 7, Ifalna escapes Shinra with Aerith, albeit in a very weakened state. They manage to end up in the Sector 7 slums. Unfortunately, Ifalna passes away, but not before giving Aerith the white materia and asking Elmira Gainsborough, who Aerith fortunately gains the help of, to take Aerith somewhere safe. From then on, she lives in the Sector 5 slums with her adoptive mother, Elmira. Together they grow flowers, Aerith visits the church a bunch, while the Turks keep tabs on her, hoping she would someday willingly come back to Shinra. For the most part, Aerith didn't really grow up with many childhood friends and was pretty lonely. Her and Courcier actually used to be good friends as kids until she found out that Aerith was a Cetra. At 16 years old, Aerith meets her first love, Zack, and this is where her personality kind of begins to blossom. You see Zack's silliness and positivity kind of rub off on her. Zack also gives her the iconic pink ribbon she wears from then on. I'm not going to get too into detail about these two since I do plan on making a Zack fair video, but yeah. Personality-wise, Aerith seems like a joy to be around, very quick to make friends. She's very positive and upbeat, a little bit of a flirt, and is more of an extrovert. Despite all she's been through, she still tries to see the best in people and isn't the biggest fan of resulting to violence. Being a Cetra, she's in tune with nature and tries to commune with it, and although she is very forgiving, she becomes pretty cold and stern when faced with someone who's done massively wrong by her. She's also a pretty sentimental person and is for the most part decisive and headstrong. She's spunky and a little sassy, but also gentle in nature. Although she's very kind, she's definitely not naive. She's actually very wise for her age. It takes a lot of strength to still be so positive after all she's been through. Now let's talk about Aerith and Cloud's relationship. Cloud first comes across Aerith after his first mission with Avalanche, where she first gives him the lily, but they don't officially introduce themselves to each other until he falls into the Sector 5 church during his second mission. He then becomes her bodyguard after escaping the Turks, who had come to try and retrieve her again. Quite a bit after they meet and have spent some time together, Aerith expresses that Cloud reminds her of her first love, Zack. It seems she found comfort in Cloud initially due to him resembling and having similar mannerisms as Zack, but after that she's been trying to decipher who Cloud really is as she wants to get to know more of that side, since she could sense there was something more to the front that, unbeknownst to him, Cloud had mentally put on as a trauma response. Her death is a huge blow to the party, and Cloud is overcome with so much emotion and later on guilt for not being able to save her. Her guidance going forth in the Remake trilogy, I believe, is going to be a huge help for Cloud to later cope with what all actually happened with her and with Zack. Aerith has a way about her that brings people comfort. Aerith is kind of like a therapist. She brings out the best in people and definitely gets Cloud to open up and have some fun while he's at it. She's a person who, when things aren't looking great, has something uplifting to say. Her positivity is very integral to the core of the group, and you see in various instances the ways in how everyone keeps her memory alive. Cloud is naturally supportive and trusting of her and never really acts cold towards her, just shy and reserved at first since, you know, my guy is awkward during social situations, but he does warm up to her relatively quickly. Moving on to Tifa. Tifa Lockhart was born May 3rd, 1987, which makes her a Taurus. Tifa's parents are Brian and Thea Lockhart. She grew up in Nibelheim along with Cloud, and although they consider each other childhood friends, they weren't particularly the closest. Cloud was very shy, and Tifa as a kid was more extroverted and wanted so much to be liked by everyone. She takes up martial arts pretty early, studying under Zangen. Tifa unfortunately lost both of her parents as well. Her mother passed away when she was about 8, and her father died trying to go after Sephiroth during the dreaded Nibelheim incident. Tifa went after her dad during this time and found his lifeless body right beside Sephiroth's sword. She then takes the sword and tries to confront Sephiroth to no avail. He grabs his sword back and lacerates her chest. The game depicts a smaller cut, but this cut is actually pretty massive. As she's unconscious, it was Cloud that moves her to safety before confronting Sephiroth for the second time after Zack is unsuccessful at beating him. Zangen fortunately finds her and takes her to Corel to be treated by Dr. Sheeran. To get treated further, Zangen takes her to the Sector 8 slums to Dr. Damini Oranje, the mother of his previous student Rakesh. Once she's recovered, she was in massive debt and ended up working for a man called Mr. Manson. She later meets Marl, who had to go through a procedure at Dr. Oranje's as well. Then she met Jessie, and following that, Biggs and Wedge. And this is just the spark notes, you guys. In Sector 7, her and Marl help out the OG owner of the bar 7th Heaven, Monty, who desperately needed help, and she takes full care of it after he falls ill. This is where she meets Barrett and Marlene, who were regulars at the bar. Then she fully joins Avalanche, agreeing to make the bar their hideout. Post Nibelheim, Tifa seems to have become a little more introverted and reserved, putting a lot of others' needs before her own. She kind of becomes the mom of the group. She's intuitive and observant, and while she can be at times stubborn and not lacking confidence per se, she's very self-critical. She also holds anger and resentment towards Shinra, and that pops out a couple of times, showing that she's vengeful towards them, and she can be aggressive when the moment calls for it. As for Tifa and Cloud's relationship, as I've stated, they grew up together in Nibelheim. She and her friends wanted Cloud to be included in their activities, but he was an extremely reserved and quiet person. Trying to search for her mom at Mount Nibel after she passed, Tifa accidentally trips and falls as her friends pretty much ditch her and later putting the blame on Cloud, when in actuality Cloud saves her from further injury. Before Cloud leaves Nibelheim and hopes to join Soldier, in part to follow Sephiroth's footsteps and to impress Tifa, Tifa asks him to promise that he'll save her just once whenever she's in trouble. Fast forward to the Nibelheim incident, Cloud is present, just not as a soldier. He is actually a Shinra guard working with the appointed soldier men, Sephiroth and Zack. Throughout that whole time, he refuses to talk or take his helmet off to show his face due to the shame he feels for not making it into soldier. Post Zack's death, 5 years after the Nibelheim incident, Tifa found Cloud near death at the train station underneath Midgar's Section 7 and recruits him to help Avalanche out. She instantly recognizes him and takes him to 7th Heaven to recover. This is close to essentially where our adventure begins. Mentally, Cloud's still 16 years old, since he's been comatose for like 4 years, and although Tifa holds resentment towards Shinra and Soldier, she sees Cloud as her friend first and an ex-soldier second. One big moment that we'll get to experience in the remake trilogy that I'm excited to see from the OG is the moment when Cloud falls into the life stream. At that point, Tifa helps heal his mental state by helping him sort out his real memories from his made-up ones. As mentioned before, many people see Tifa as the mom of the group, kind of acting like a rock for Cloud. She puts herself in harm's way multiple times during his Sephiroth/reunion headaches to make sure he's okay. Like Aerith, she's very patient and forgiving with him. Cloud, for the most part, is pretty gentle with Tifa and gradually gains respect for her as she proves her skills and independence. They both find comfort in each other since they've known each other for so long, and Cloud holds Tifa's opinion in high regard, as you could surmise by how he acts after failing to join Soldier. As you may be able to see better in Advent Children, Cloud really tries to not make other people worry by just being by himself, which in turn makes people worry, especially Tifa. He comes around though, coming to terms with Aerith and Zack being gone and realizing he's not alone, as long as he's with his family and friends. And just to talk about Tifa and Aerith's friendship, they grow close relatively quickly and they confide in each other. They love to act giddy and silly together. We don't see much of it, but we get hints of it in Rebirth, where Tifa tells Aerith about how she feels about Cloud's situation and like what actually happened in Nibelheim, and we get hints of Aerith talking about Zack as well. And both of them know Zack since Zack was there during the Nibelheim incident, so I'm sure we might see more of this in the third game where like they talk about it more and how Cloud's story isn't really lining up with what they know. When Aerith passes, Tifa takes it really hard, as you can see in Rebirth. She's so distraught and she doesn't want to talk. She takes it pretty hard, which is a really huge contrast to Cloud, as I've discussed in my previous video. But yeah, it's safe to say they both show a lot of love and respect towards each other as friends. And I don't think I'm trying to make this as a hardcore persuasion essay, per se, but more so a reminder. For the most part, despite where I stand, I still recognize valid points Clerith stands bring up. Further information or further reading, I advise reading the light novels, watching, playing, reading more of the compilation. And I don't want you to be scared to do that, especially if you're new and you're a hardcore shipper of either one. Like, don't be scared because you're scared of what you might find. People have done this and still come to their own conclusions. And we've been living in our own biases for like 20 plus years. And all in all, Final Fantasy VII is a groundbreaking moment in time. It's one of the best video games of all time. And the remake trilogy has shown a light on it once again. Great gameplay, groundbreaking gameplay and graphics back in the day. Cool story, awesome characters. This game and its whole extended universe and compilation is much more than shipping wars. It's so much more than that. And I know that part of this triangle is what makes Final Fantasy VII Final Fantasy VII. Don't get me wrong, but that's not the only thing. It's just it's just this little thing among many other things, okay? Shipping aside, the important thing is how Cloud's relationships reflect and influence him and his journey in general. One can at least acknowledge the fact that Cloud has a strong relationship with both Tifa and Aerith. But he's a lucky guy, because they both have such patience for him. If it were me, I mean, if I were a group of friends trying to help him through something, yeah, cool, but like, my level of patience, I don't know. I don't think it's as high. It is clear as day, undeniable, that Cloud loves both of them, and both of them love him too. Square gave you that choice for a reason, okay? They made it this way. You are given the choice. Both sides have argued one bond is stronger over the other, one is canon over the other, but we're gonna have to wait, I guess, until Square makes it 100% undeniably clear.
Oh my gosh, that's not even
Don't
true.
you know he still sleeps at the church? Like,
He doesn't love sleep together. Like, what the fuck are
okay,
you?
clearly it's not clear enough for some of these people. Okay? So that's why I'm saying until Square makes it 100% undeniably clear, just feel free to be happy, do what the hell you want. Just imagine these two strong women having this wonderful friendship. They're like besties. They confide in each other. They're silly with each other. Their friendship is so cute. And then there's people devaluing one's relationship with Cloud over the other, hating on one of these girls from outside of the club. Could it be me? But yeah, think about it this way. What if this was a real life situation?
No, this isn't real life. These are fictional characters. Terrible point.
Okay, fine. Think about this as a person who actually gives a f about Cloud's well-being. Do you know who he should actually be with? Nobody. Yeah, this dude is going through an identity crisis. He's remembering things he shouldn't and is not remembering things he should. He snaps from reunion Cloud to regular Cloud, and he's dangerous. He's not likable like the second half of Remake. And in Advent Children, he has survivor's guilt along with many of the other characters like Tifa. He's not going to be able to take care of anybody if he doesn't take care of himself. He needs to find himself again. He needs to be happy and enjoy his own company. He should not be in a relationship as it stands right now. Yeah. He needs to get right for his friends and the family that he has with Tifa and Denzel. Okay. Let's stop. But yeah, I don't know. I hope we come to common ground here. This is a safe space, as long as you're not nasty. If you're a person who hates the shipping wars and you just want to let it all out, leave it in the comments section. If you're for one side or the other, but you can acknowledge the significance of the other character to Cloud's life, leave it in the comments section. We're at Aerith and Tifa house up in here. They should be together. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I was nervous at first, but I don't know, I'm not so much anymore. I love this game way too damn much, and I love these characters way too damn much. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more of me, please subscribe and like the video. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to laugh and take care. I'll catch you next time. Bye. But have we thought about Cloud and Barrett though? Nobody but you. Nobody but you. I can't speak Korean.